Hello, I'm in Tokyo today. I'm with Igor, and I'm very happy to have a chance to meet a fellow no-coder here in Tokyo. We're in a cafe near Shibuya. Thank you for choosing this. It's a very nice setup, nice window. People can see it, but I still like to set the vibe. Thanks for taking the time to meet me. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like, I'm really happy to be here today and talk to you. Yeah, my name is Igor, and I am a Webflow developer and Webflow agency owner in Tokyo. Um, I'm originally from Russia. Yeah, and I've been living here like for already 7 years. And I've been doing Webflow since like 2020. Actually, like before that, I was doing another like startup, building an app. But eventually, I like made some pivots, and it made me kind of like change the business. And actually, the Webflow was one of the tools which helped me, and I just like started using it and built the whole business out of that. Uh, yeah, it was exciting, and I'm really excited to talk about this story today as well.
What's your background? Do you have a technical background? Do you have what did you study? Just to
Yeah, actually, I don't have technical background. When I was at the university in Moscow State University, I was studying international relations, and that's the main reason why I happened to be in Japan as well, because I was studying English and one more like second foreign language is Japanese, and that's kind of like how I was kind of like introduced to Japan as well, and basically what I was studying at the university is like history, politics, languages, a little bit of like cultural stuff, like diplomacy stuff. This kind of like how to say the like liberal arts. People probably call it something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was not technical at all. But what happened is that in the my last year at the university was 2015 when this like sustainable development goals were introduced, and that was kind of like a big topic back then, and I made my graduation thesis about this, and I was really interested in the kind of like sustainability stuff, so I was started looking for like where to get my master's degree, and after that, like I went for the master's degree for the like sustainability science program in Tokyo University, and that was already kind of like a little bit more technical. It was mix of like actually my faculty people were doing everything. Like somebody was doing just like social studies, somebody was doing like pure engineering studies, and somebody doing like something in between. And my lab particularly was about like urban design, but like the planning of the city, planning of the public spaces and all that stuff. So I kind of like jumped really a lot from the international relations into urban design, which was kind of like also a surprise for me, but that's just was something what I was interested in back then. And that helped me to become a little bit more technical. But in the end, I started my company again. Like it was again another change. And at that time, I set up a company together with my brother, actually.
What was the company about?
We were making a mobile app. So this mobile app is called Like Pay. And the idea was is to monetize likes which people get on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, because like many people, there are a lot of influencers who kind of like get paid for creating content online on the Instagram and other social media, and we had an idea of like how to give the same kind of like capability, same ability to everyone. So we created the system when you could have an app which has like listings of the shops around here in Tokyo, and you could kind of like make a post on your Instagram with some particular hashtag of each shop, and if you get likes on this shop on this post, then you can use it as a discount points when next time you go to the one of the partner shops, and this way you kind of like pay with likes. So that's why it was like pay. Of course, like the similar ideas or like similar startups were happening in other parts of the world, and we got some ideas from there, and kind of like uh, tuned it up a little bit for Japan,
Okay.
and that's exactly what we're doing. And when we started the business, I was doing kind of like the kind of like business side, everything except for development, and yeah, that's kind of like that's why I'm not technical person actually. I was just doing like sales and doing like marketing, this kind of stuff, and trying to raise some funds. That was my first role.
And so your brother was doing the technical part? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an engineer, so he's writing code, and like he made the first prototype of our app, and then we built like mobile app when we got several more team members, like technical team members on our team, like to build a better app. Actually, with that's one of the reasons why I came to no code, because back then we spent way too much resources and time on building an app. And it was like 2018, so no code was not that big thing yet.
Especially to build mobile apps or depend.
Yeah, exactly. But we actually raised some funds, so around like $100,000, and we spent almost all of that just on like development, and ended up with having like a kind of like working product, but not enough sales and marketing.
Okay, that's interesting. Did you use Webflow for the website, or no, you discovered Webflow after, or?
Yeah, I discovered Webflow exactly when I was trying to solve my marketing problem, because our first website was just HTML, like CSS files uploaded on the Google Cloud, which like my brother made. And it was like very static. And every time when I wanted to like, I want to, of course, to grow my business, and I want to have some updates. I was thinking like I want to put some shops which we have on our website. I wanted to put some testimonials of the users, because we were doing like user feedback, like interviews, and maybe like have some promotional campaign or something like that. And like all of that I wanted to put on the website. But when I go to my team members, like to my brother and like other technical team members, they are so busy with mobile app development, so they're like, don't bother us, kind of like, we don't have time for your like websites or something like that. And we hired one junior developer to build kind of like a website from the design, which we also got from designer, and it took almost half a year to finish the website. And after it was finished, I already was not satisfied with the design, which was already like half a year old. And then I was imagining like, okay, now it will take me how many months every time when I want to update something. So I understood that it's not working. And actually, like just recently, it's really funny, because like just recently I got a message from one guy who was giving me recommendation about that I need to start using WordPress, because my website is like HTML built, like hard-coded website, and I need to have more flexibility while my startup is still very young. And back then I remember I looked through the chat, and I was saying like, oh yeah, like I don't understand anything about the websites, and like everything is so difficult and this kind of stuff. And now he messaged me saying like, oh, you kind of like made a lot of progress here. So now being like the expert of building websites, it's really funny. But
I think because you experienced all the problems of being a client of web designers or like people building website, you understand the pain and also probably the value of Webflow and tools like that.
Yeah, so I was trying many different tools. As this guy recommended me, like I tried WordPress, which was too complicated for me. I tried to do something with Wix, which was not satisfying me in terms of like, I couldn't build a design which designer built for us, designed for us. And I tried some other tools, but in the end, like nothing really satisfied me. And I tried Webflow. I actually tried Webflow several times. The first time I opened it, it looked very scary. I just closed it down. I opened it again like in 2 months, and I could build the page, but then like I tried to kind of like do some responsiveness, and it was like nothing worked.
How did you learn?
Actually, just by myself. I was just like, I didn't even watch the Webflow University. I was just trying different things. And I also showed it to my brother, and he said like, wow, that looks like really close to HTML and CSS, what usually people would do. So he also gave me some advices how to...
Okay, yeah, that's nice to have someone who knows HTML and CSS not far, because I think that's one of the things that's important to say with Webflow is that it's very close, like in terms of abstraction. So it's very important to know HTML and CSS, really. Doesn't mean you will have to write it, but it's still like you have to understand the basic concepts.
Yeah, exactly. The basic concepts are very important, and I didn't have them. So I kind of like, I used Webflow as the tool which taught me this like basic concepts of HTML and CSS. So it was quite good.
Like I have, like back in France, I was working for a coding bootcamp, and then I switched to no code around the same time. Like you launched your startup around 2019, 18, and I remember telling the people who I used to work with, like, you should look at Webflow to help people learn how to code. It's also a great way, because they were teaching them CSS, HTML, but then they had to write it, and the step is hard. If I'm sure even now still, you want to learn how to code, experience Webflow first, and then you'll get a bit more easily like the visual feedback of the CSS, etc. And then you understand the concept, the margin, the padding, whatever, and then you can write code. The problem is with that approach is that maybe you will stay to Webflow because you say, oh, why write code,
Yeah, but that was very close to what I did. But I remember already after like several months of doing that, I started also kind of like looking for some jQuery stuff, like to add a little bit of more functionality to my websites. And after that, already kind of like is the custom CSS and like thinking like some things, they just make more sense when you do it like with the code. Like, of course, there is like some limitations on the Webflow, but then you can add a little bit of your own code and it works kind of like better.
Well, maybe we'll come back to that after, because of course I have a few questions also about AI and all those things. But first, maybe it would be interesting to understand a bit, what are your clients now? What the kind of projects that you take? And well, let's start with that, because I have more questions about the agency part also. But so like maybe like what's the services you offer to your clients?
Yeah, so we are kind of like main development agency. So we don't do much of the design work, kind of like web design work, but we usually just specify it on building the website in Webflow. Implementation, yeah. Most of the time, people are coming with the request of migration from WordPress or any other CMS. And whether we move their website like in the same look as it is right now, or they do some redesign during this project. So like we receive.
Can you explain why do they ask you to move? That's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, because they feel that they don't have enough control over the website, and the client
over the design, over the database, over
like everything actually. Because most of the clients who I work with recently, they are kind of a little bit bigger companies. They are whether they are big Japanese companies or they're like subsidiary of big Japanese company, and yeah, most of the time they're like subsidiary, and they are maybe like 100, 200 people, like or something like that. And they usually have some contractor who built a website for them like several years ago, like maybe 10 years ago or something. And it's kind of like custom coded theme for the WordPress. And like every time when client wants to have any update on the website, except for like maybe posting news or blogs, they need to contact the contractor, the agency, and kind of like ask, give the requirements, ask for how much it costs, go to check with some like get approval for this budget, and going back and forth a lot. And then like even small changes, they may take like a month or like two to implement. So they feel a very lack of freedom with the website, but they want to make it more dynamic. They want to kind of like put more new contents, like maybe create new landing pages for their services or their products, kind of like make it more dynamic. And they cannot do that with what they have right now. So that's why they're looking for new technologies. And one of the options is Webflow. There is also another popular local tool here, like local tool in Japan. And they usually come with the question, which one is better and like why should we choose.
How is called the other one?
It's called Studio. Okay. It's the website is studio.design. Okay. And this is kind of like a framer, I guess. So it's not that comprehensive as the Webflow, but it's maybe easier for beginners to use. But usually the Japanese companies, because it's Japanese tool and the all information is in Japanese, it's like very easy for them to find, and it's much more well known than Webflow here in Japan. But this kind of like a little bit bigger companies, they prefer something more comprehensive. So they usually come with the question, what is the difference, and why Webflow would be better. I explain what is the difference, and they make a decision. And if they decide that Webflow is something what they want to
You
go.
don't use the other tool. You don't use Studio.
No, me myself, no. I only use Webflow.
I have a couple of questions more about specifically like Japanese clients. But before that, I'm a bit curious about Japanese design. If you can tell me a bit about, because I have to say for us, the website, I don't know if you would agree with that, but the Japanese websites look very different for us, like as Westerners, or I don't know, I'd say like, the design is like the style. So, okay, there is like the letters, everything all is different. It's not all, but I don't know, that the website look very different. Is there anything a bit specific or?
Yeah, I also agree that it's very different. And to be honest, like why it's so different is a very difficult question. I couldn't answer 100%
It's
about
a
that.
cultural.
Yeah. So one of the things is probably even like if you go through the city, you see that it's much more colorful than like European cities, for example. And a lot of this like billboards, like neon, like stuff, and like this kind of thing. So like they like this kind of colorful thing, and everything is over informative. What we can see on the streets, and also sometimes like on the printed stuff. Like of course you have like very elegant and very beautiful like magazines, but if let's say if you go to some government office, you will see a lot of this like notice papers with like huge red text, and then something is even more important is like even bigger red text and like this kind of stuff. So I think like maybe a little bit risk averse, and so that's why it becomes so much informative, and they try to put so much information on the same space. And I think that goes into design is one of the reasons. But second thing is I think that it's just a little bit fallen behind, because the designs which I'm working with, like the newly designed website, when our clients want to move to a new one, they are much closer to what we usually see like in the Europe or US.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd say like now if like a Japanese designer comes to you with a design, it will be closer to what we do as well, or there's like standard because there's trends, it's
okay. I think it will be closer. The only thing is that many people who do web design in Japan, they are coming from this like printed design. So they are doing this like magazines or like some like, I don't know, brochures, something like that.
That's interesting, yeah, because it's true now that you're saying that. I see like how like the print aspect of the website, like the way what they do is not very adapted to the web,
and like if you that's about the website, but if you're going to like about web applications, for example, then the story is even worse, because I think like for web applications most of the time they don't even have a designer. And I think there is kind of like still a concept. They don't pay much attention to the web design, to the design of the applications. And I think that most of the time, probably the guy who is building it, like maybe front end engineer, he like they just say like, just you can build it, right? And he's like, yes, I can build, but like he is not a designer, of course. Like he's not thinking about the best UI or UX, and it just happens like really good working tool, but not very kind of very systematic, like how engineer would make it, not like how a designer would make it. So that's another reason which I think. So kind of like to sum up, there is no one particular reason why the design looks so different. I think there is just like several of them. Like just the industry is falling behind a little bit. Then like there are some local specifics of the how they like information to look like, or like how they like things to be very informative, and a lot of some kind of like attention texts and warnings and this kind of stuff as well.
It's interesting when you say over informative. It's exactly, I think, the word I've been looking for 5 weeks, because it's true. Like, not only, as you said, everything is written, everything literally, but even there's a voice very often. Like, for instance, when you take the bus here, the driver speaks a lot. Like he has a microphone and he speaks and he says, "Oh, we're going to arrive at the station, we're departing." Or I don't even really understand what he says, but also I kind of guess. But yeah, this is exactly it. Like they are informing.
Very, very informative and very like risk averse as well. So like when you're talking about this like bus, when he's like start moving, it means like it can shake. So like people should be prepared to like
Handle, yeah.
get the handle, something like that. Or like if sometimes in the train as well, they can have like some announcement that we like right now it will be kind of like shaking.
Yeah, if there's a curve also sometimes.
Yeah. So that's also happening.
Yeah, that was super interesting. And just in general, for you as an entrepreneur, how is it to work with Japanese clients?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a interesting question because it's kind of there are of course good points and the bad points. If I will try from the bad ones.
So first, maybe, do you also work sometimes for clients outside of Japan, or not really?
Yeah,
Or really?
sometimes,
Yeah, okay.
seldomly, but I think 90% are Japanese companies.
Okay.
So I will start from what I don't like, and then I will finish with what I actually like about it. What I don't like is, of course, very long decision-making process and the sales process as well. So we just I was guest at another podcast and we really talked about this business in Japan in particular, and I was explaining how, let's say, I recently was helping the Webflow enterprise team to handle the sale for one of the Japanese company, and I noticed that the sailing kind of like way of the in the US is very pushing. So like they're trying to put a lot of pressure on the client, giving like some special discounts which are like expiring next week or something like that. And they want to have decision very fast, which doesn't work with Japanese companies at all. We kind of like we had several calls with them, and it kind of like took some time for the salesperson in the US to understand what the only thing which Japanese company wants to have like one paper which says how much it will cost, and this price should be fixed for some period of time because they just need to bring it to kind of like to get the budget from that for that. And like we give this paper, and then um, they actually this American guy, he was talking to me like, oh, I think like this deal is not going to work. I think that they're not motivated to buy, like they're really so reluctant. And I said like, no, like they are like super hot lead, like they are like amazing, like they already taking your estimate, and like they said that they're going to go for budgeting. And like really, like they will go through like and get the budget. Like yeah, like and what I do from now? Like wait, like for how long? Maybe a couple of months, of like 2 3 months. You wait until they reach out to you saying that we approve the budget, and like just really just that. And he waited like for around like month and a half or something. Then he actually like followed up, and yeah, exactly as I said. So they were like doing this like internal procedures for the budgeting, and in the end, the whole deal worked out well. And it really takes a lot of time, and that's kind of like the thing which, of course, doesn't give you a lot of momentum. If you need to generate quick sales, like in this like B2B business here, it's very difficult.
Is it the same during the implementation process? Let's say you get a budget, you start a project, and then like the different steps, like maybe the validation of the design, the tests, all this. Is it also like long or?
Not that long actually. That gets faster after the key decision is made, and when it comes to already very kind of like work questions, like technical questions, it's usually then there is like some guy who is in charge of this, like, or the designer who is checking whether the design is actually looks good or not, and then it's not big a problem. If we need to have like some other things to do, let's say like the design is not like the best, then there is a better option to do, and like maybe I make a proposal how to change the UI or like change the UX, then they maybe will think about it for some time. But of course at that point there are already much like less people involved, and the decision process goes faster, because that's also actually very very important thing about the doing sales and like everything, like in Japanese companies, they don't have one particular decision maker. All of the decisions, they are made through endless kind of like meetings. So like, how to say, like what I feel in Japan is that the responsibility for decisions is not held by one particular person. It's kind of like distributed among the teams, like who are doing this, and I think that's also kind of like cultural thing, because like they really try to avoid having the responsibility, and this way the responsibility is.
But like they avoid, like you mean as a person, they don't want to be responsible for a decision, and
Yeah.
so they will bounce it to other or share the responsibility. Okay.
Yeah, like just they will be having a lot of meetings just to make sure that everyone is okay with that, and like it kind of like we all together made the decision.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, there is one facilitator for that, like somebody who is in charge of the project, but like this person is in a position that he just facilitates it, but like he's not making a decision, and in case if something is happening, he's not the one who should be punished for that.
Is it the same in any type of any size of company? Because I would say I feel like it's a bit like that in France as well, in bigger companies. In a smaller company, it's the boss who decides usually, and then or someone. It can be a bit different. Is it?
Yeah, of course, it's the bigger company, the more you can see that. But even in the small teams, let's say when I have some sales meeting or something like that, usually I have several people joining and just some of them just listening to what is going on here. They don't really have anything to say, but they just made to participate in the meeting.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but like one thing which I really like about working with the Japanese companies is like once you started working with them, it's a very loyal client.
Yeah.
And like just because somebody offered them like a little bit cheaper or something like that, they're not going to just change to another contractor or something like that. They really value this long-term relationships with the contractors, with any company who is helping them. So yeah, when you start working with them, they make like contract for 1 year or something like that, and then they keep going more and more, like asking for more and more work. In this terms, it's a very loyal customer, and I don't have to be that much worried about like where to find my next deal, because many of them, they're just coming from my already existing client.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. And so more just to understand. So do you work also with other people on Webflow? Do you do what's the like your organization? I would say.
Yeah, right now we're a team of 5 people.
Okay.
So we have 2 Japanese and 3 foreigners. And like Japanese guys, they are actually like my former students, I would say. Like I actually teach them to use Webflow and do all that stuff, because I actually also have an online school. It's called Supasaito Academy, where we teach how to use Webflow in Japanese.
In Japanese, okay.
Yeah, this is like 2 students of mine, and another one is my brother, who's our CTO. He's doing all the technical stuff. And from last autumn, we have one more team member, Francesco. He's from Italy, and he just moved a couple of years ago to Japan. And he's also a Webflow expert. So he joined us, and now we have
So you're full remote, but everyone is in Japan.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, like there is one guy who just went to Philippines now, just for studying English. Like he's Japanese one.
It's okay.
Yeah, but based in Japan, around Tokyo.
I think it's the best. Like it's like the remote culture. I think if you do it well, like it's a kind of a bulletproof organization. Like because sometimes people who work in offices, and I mean it's nice. I like working in an office. But there is a lot of things that people shout to each other. Have you done this? And then it's not always a good organization. Doesn't mean you have good processes. You have like a good, I don't know, like software like project management or this kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we actually had the office before we moved out from our office like in October last year, and before that, exactly, like we were all in the office and always communicating. Like I feel like we were over communicating between us, and yeah, like the actual working time could be taken by this communication. And right now we actually only have meeting once a week for everyone, and then separately, if we need to discuss some things, we talk about that within the team. So now we have much more time on focused on real work rather than just like endlessly talking about stuff.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's nice also to have a little talk, but it's true. It's like in terms of productivity, it's it's a bit different.
And also, it kind of like helps people to adjust the style. Let's say one of our team members really works during the late nights. Like sometimes she would send me like I finished this task like 4 or 5 in the morning.
This is very important actually. I really like that, especially in technical jobs. You know, like I used to be CTO of a startup. We're working with a bunch of programmers, and yeah, some of them they cannot wake up in the morning. You know, and it would be a shame. Like if you force them to come at fixed hours to an office, you lose them, and they can be brilliant engineers. I think it's better to leave them work at night if they want to, as long as you have like a good balance. That's I would say for people.
Yeah. So yeah, for me too. Like I discovered this like remote work, like remote teamwork.
Yeah.
Last year, and I'm pretty happy about that. Also, like sometimes, yeah, I have some days when I don't feel like working a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Don't
As
have
long as the job gets done in the end.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested in the operations. What kind of tools do you use to organize like project management, these kind of things?
Yeah, we have most of that in Notion.
Okay.
So I turned Notion into our like project management, task management, also into the CRM. And also after we moved to working remotely, I also used it as a kind of like time tracking tool.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So what we do is we have like time logs there is a database, and we put like this working time from what time to what time I did some work, and then I have like several properties to that. Like first is like I connected to some particular project if I'm working on a client project or any other project, and we have the start time, end time, and also we have kind of like a type of work if it's actually working or if it's a meeting if we are talking. And also if it's like related to client or is it like sales process or something for our sales or for our marketing or like for building our own products. And then this way I also enjoy using the Notion graphs, which show me let's say one month and how many hours I worked this month, how many of them are works, and how much is the meetings. Did I work more on the client side or on sales side or marketing? So I have all of that analytics, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's super useful to plan next projects, like for both planning and budgeting, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you want to, it's good to know also if a project is over budget or what.
Yeah. Before that, I was guessing like the prices and all that stuff. Now I kind of like have my ideal like benchmark of how much should be like our rates like per hour, and now I see which projects are going well, which are not, which are kind of like underestimated, something like that, and then I use this experience to estimate new projects. More accurately.
At the beginning, it's very hard, I think, to know how much a website costs. Or just to go back to Webflow, I'm curious to a bit more like to get into Webflow, and especially maybe because I haven't really followed, so I'm also asking to learn a bit more. I'm not a big Webflower, but I've been following the tool in the recent. Let's say the last year, what are the new features that you're excited about, and what are also maybe what's missing, what's coming? Like,
I really liked how they pushed the components. So before that, it was just like some part of the like some block. You just make it reusable, and you could probably only use it for navigation bar and the footer, which are completely the same on all pages. But they added a lot of features like override fields when you can kind of like you have a component, but you can put different data inside of that. And they added the slots.
They have like properties.
Yes,
like
yes.
those.
Added the properties. You can put like you have a slot and you could put another component inside of this component, and it can endlessly build this tree of the inside of the component, which is pretty good because actually right now I'm also making the website for one of the client, and I build like all of the sections, everything is built in the components. So, and this will allow marketing people to build their pages without any knowledge of the design. They just change the properties, and they also added the design variations. So let's say there is a section which is kind of like the content on the right and the image on the left, and then you can reverse that, or like there is a version with the gradient background or something like that.
And so they can use that without touching at the design.
Yeah,
like they will take the component, they will put it on a page.
Yes.
From like a editor perspective, like they're not like designers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So they build this workflow when we can, the designer can pre-build the components, and after that the client or like marketer can build it, just changing the properties, like basically changing texts. So it's kind of like something what you would have in like maybe Squarespace or like this kind of tools where you don't have a lot of design freedom, but it's very easy to edit.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's kind of like have both sides now.
It's interesting. It's basically you as a Webflow user, you're building a sort of like internal Squarespace for your client.
Yes, exactly.
Like your client is in Webflow, but it doesn't matter. Like he's not touching the Webflow editor or anything. He gets there on his website. It's all to his colors, everything, but he can still build pages on his own without asking you. And it goes from very early on, I think in Webflow, all the like the clients could make edit to the text, to the image, but not the layout.
Yes.
And so now they can really make their own layouts, and that's really interesting. I didn't follow much of that.
Yeah, that was one really exciting thing. Another one is that they made support for variables, for the CSS variables. That actually really changed the way how I approach the like CSS in Webflow, because before that I tried to use the same classes as much as possible across the whole website, and then ended up having a lot of combo classes, kind of like a lot of different classes on the same element, and it was not very difficult, not very easy to work with, and it was kind of like a mess when you could change something and something else will change on the other page, kind of like difficult to control. And now what I do is I kind of like most of the time I make the new class for not every element, but like for the similar elements. Let's say I have a feature section, so I will create a class for the feature section, and then inside of that I have some specific layout for this particular section, and it will also be like some feature section inner like layout or something like that. And maybe like I have a cart inside, and like I use carts in different places on my website, and this like a feature card, this like testimonial card, this is something else, and they are different. Like some of them are links, some of them are not links, and kind of like before I would have like some class called card, and then the combo class like testimonial, and then link or not link, or like external link, internal link, and like so many of them. And what I do right now, I just make like testimonial card, feature card. And how I keep styles consistent is I use variables. So like I have a variable, let's say card radius border, or like card border color, like this kind of things, which I write inside of the variables. And then I know that this element is a card. This is a testimonial card, this is a feature card, but they share the same border radius and they share the same border color. So I will just apply the same variable.
And if you wanted to change, like let's say, okay, the client is not happy with the radius, he wants to go from 10 to 5 or something, you change one time.
Yes, I only change one variable, and it makes much easier to keep the structure and understanding, and kind of like prevent the kind of cases when you accidentally change the design of other elements which you didn't mean to change. And then it also keeps it simple to control this
like global
global stuff.
Super interesting. And what about AI? I would say, like, I'm interested actually to know like what you're using, like first in Webflow, because this I haven't really followed. I know they've done things about AI, but maybe also what are your usage outside of Webflow?
Yeah,
in the context of your activity, I would say.
So Yeah, talking about Webflow, actually, just very recently, they made this the beta of the Webflow AI builder. So now you basically can create the website from the prompt. To be honest, I haven't tried it yet because I was too busy with clients. Before that, they were kind of rolling out some AI features one by one, starting from localization. So they added this multilingual support, and they probably used AI to make kind of like auto translations for the texts. Another one, they made kind of like AI assistant, like a chat inside of the Webflow, which could help you to answer the questions about like, how to do this, how to do this.
Okay.
So this kind of stuff. And I think one more thing, they made kind of like assistant, which you could kind of choose some block and tell him to build something inside of this block, and now it can be like building the whole page. So like they just going step by step in terms of implementing AI.
But for instance, would that be interesting for you, like as a Webflow expert? You're building everything yourself, I mean, and you're used to it, and I guess goes fast.
Mhm.
Would you use like a AI or say like do something? Would you need that, or is it
Yeah,
more
so
for-
far the features which were implemented in Webflow, I didn't really feel that they are useful for me because they're mostly focused on the beginners, like to make it easier for the beginners to start with. I'm not sure about this very recent feature, like when it builds the whole page
No,
for you.
yeah.
They also say that it will build the design system, like will create all the variables and all that stuff.
Okay.
So that might be time saving. Yeah, but at the end, I don't know if it's like the best way, like which I feel comfortable with to work.
It would be interesting to see because it's either they do it really well and then it saves you time, or maybe you have to redo a lot of small thing, and then in the end, okay, it made the beginning, but then you have a lot to do to make it really like the way you would.
Yeah, exactly. Besides the Webflow, what I use AI for is, of course, like I use ChatGPT, but mostly for helping me out with some JavaScript stuff.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like sometimes with what I cannot find online, or like it takes like a little bit much time to find the go through the Stack Overflow stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just ask it to write some code for me. Also, we use for image generation. Like actually, not this year, but last year we have had one client actually for design, and the design was actually very interesting because this was like blockchain company, but they said like they want to have the design connected somehow with the ancient Roma, uh, and that was kind of like very challenging. And we used a lot of AI to kind of like brush up on like what kind of like, designs we can make, and also to create these images. Like ancient Roma style images for like to make it look really epic and like really cool.
Yeah.
We used Midjourney for that, and we used these images in the design for the client.
Okay. Nice. Um, do you put code in every website that you do for your clients? Is there always a little line of JavaScript or?
Not particularly for JavaScript, but a little bit of custom CSS. Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes like things just make more sense to do with the CSS. A little bit like the flow has amazing animations, but like sometimes you just need to have like some hover effect, and like it feels a little bit too heavy to build the animation. So I will just write a little bit of the CSS which will deal with this.
That's interesting. I wouldn't expect that. I thought maybe like some JavaScript, some sort of like interactions, but even CSS. Okay.
Yeah, for the JavaScript as well. As I mentioned, like we have the online school, and this website is built on the Webflow, but the backend is Supabase.
Okay.
And I used a lot of JavaScript to connect this backend to the Webflow.
Do you also use Supabase for the authentication?
Yes, authentication and also our content. So we use the full CMS for kind of like this server-side rendered content, which is good for SEO. But the actual kind of like content gating, the gated content is served from the Supabase after the user is authenticated.
Okay, no, it's interesting. There is a friend of mine who's doing a class on Webflow in France, and he started his course. So it's all online, asynchronous, just like videos he put online. And first he'd used Teachable, like LMS platform, and then he rebuilt everything using Webflow to make it like perfectly custom. I can't remember actually what he used for the backend, but actually I don't even remember what he used for the front end. I think it maybe MemberStack, like for the gating, things like that. But it's true that the result is very impressive because it's like fully, like it's all universe. He's a designer originally, so it's very nice to have like a platform, like a teaching platform that's all yours.
Yeah, I also started from the member stack, but I felt kind of like limited to build with the tool. It was still when it was just like member stack version first, like the first version. Before the version 2, I already moved to a new platform, and right now when I have like the authentication, the database connected inside of the same system in the Supabase, I feel it's like my capabilities are endless. I can do whatever I want.
Oh, makes sense. Nice. Just to finish, let's. I'd like to talk a little bit about the local no-code community. So you're a Webflow ambassador or leader. I don't know. I can remember the actual name.
Called the global leader.
Global leader. Okay, yeah. So you do a meetup here. How is it often? Is it like a regular, or how does it work?
Yeah, I did it quite often, like last year, like the first half of the last year. We actually need to do it like several times a year, so it's not like every month or something like that. Yes. But it's kind of not very regular meetup. So when we have something interesting to come up and when we want to gather together, we do the meetup.
Is there a lot of Webflowers in Tokyo?
No, not a lot. So usually our events, there are not so many people, like maybe 10, 15 people is the max. If we're not collaborating with somebody else, because like, let's say we had an event where we had maybe even 50 people, but we had a kind of like a little bit of panel discussion with two other companies and talking about more like how to use web technologies and like web marketing to grow the business and some particular stuff about the Japan as well. We also had a collaboration event with Supabase actually. Also, they had this Tokyo Supabase meetup, and we collaborated with our Webflow Tokyo meetup. Also, was quite good, but it was very interesting to reach out to a new audience because, those are like just real programmers coming.
Yeah, it's very different. I can imagine.
Yeah, looking at our code stuff was also interesting.
Is there any other meetups in Tokyo, like maybe a Notion meetup, or do you know if there's? Because I feel like Notion is very big in Japan. Is there? I think I saw there were some ambassadors here, but I couldn't meet them. But
yes, I saw on Twitter some ambassadors of or people who work at Notion. I'm not sure about that. I know that there is another community called like No Code Camp. It's a very Japanese community, and they are mostly focused on Bubble, I guess.
okay.
They started from like Glide, Bubble, Adalo, and now mostly focused on Bubble.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that they have this not only in Tokyo but in many different places.
Okay. And do you know about the No Code Japan Association?
Yeah, I know.
Because I tried to reach them, but it's all in Japanese, and they never answered me, and I was lost in translation, I think.
I know. Like they were making like a little bit bigger event, like things called like No Code Summit or something like that. Which was during the COVID. It was online, so like they made this. There was actually several hundred people like participating, like listening. It was a really buzzword. Like the No Code was a buzzword.
During COVID was.
And they got some attention, but recently I haven't heard much of what they would do.
I feel like now it's more fragmented. Like it's all like Webflow community, Notion community. Like in Europe, at least, for instance, like the Webflow community is big, the Notion community is very, and they have their own events, they have their own. Like in France, we have a big no-code community, like transverse, like people like bubblers, Airtable, whatever. They all. But I think this is specific to France, where we have very big, like united community. But otherwise, I feel like, and even now in France, for instance, like the Webflowers, we see them less at the global events. They have their own events, and it's kind of cool. I like it because it's like small groups. But yeah, I feel like now it's the age of like some of the tools are really big. So
yeah. I also remember maybe it's just because like sometimes people who are like specialists in different tools, they don't have much to talk about because
Sure.
I remember like I was meeting one guy who was like mostly in bubble. And every time I would meet him, he would be like, "So is it like who is better, like Webflow or Bubble?" And I'm just like, "Come on, there's difference.
Yeah,
Do
yeah, it's
not
not work.
compare."
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of we don't have much to discuss.
Yeah.
We cannot argue about which one is better
It's
because
true. It's a good point, actually. I think some people have been using Webflow for so long that, there's no point of discussing other things. Like, there's already quite a lot of discussion to have between Webflowers and not like the no code, whatever.
Yeah, I also feel like this kind of the community also like fragmented a little bit after this like hype which was happening during the COVID.
Yeah.
Like this, as I said, like several hundred people, like online summits, like this kind of stuff, and then everyone is just like doing the work with the tool which
Yeah,
they like.
it's true. Yeah, Webflow has had their own Webflow conf, and it's
Yeah.
but yeah, but I think it's good. It's normal. It means some of those tools have become really big and they have their own community, and it's
And it's really good to see that they are serving kind of like real needs, like big
Yeah.
companies as well. So no code is not something what you just use for something simple for the prototypes, but you actually really serious projects can be done with no code.
Definitely. I think we've passed that. Thanks. Super interesting. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite thing to do in Tokyo?
Favorite thing to do? I really like walking uh, in the city. Yeah, so I think that the Tokyo itself as a city really well planned, and it's also very different as well. So what I see sometimes in different cities, like when you have like one single central area and like everything is like just inside of this area, or but in Tokyo you have so many different centers. Like you cannot say what is the center of the Tokyo. Shibuya, Shinjuku, Ueno, like Roppongi, like all of these places are different and they have their own vibe. And you can kind of like feel, or like I'm in Shinjuku right now. This is like how it is.
It's true.
Or yeah. So I really like going to some different places, and I really like walking. So I sometimes just like walk there
Yeah.
and feel like different vibe. And of course, like every place kind of like put some frames on you what they're going to do there. So here I'm going like to some cafe. Like here I'm going to I don't know like to some bars.
There are the stores, some places, parks. Is there any area in particular that you like?
Yeah, actually, this area. So around here, Omotesando area. I live near there.
Okay.
I really love this area because it's so cozy, very quiet, and but at the same time, kind of like a lot of people. Like it's a very fashionable area. But if you go just a little bit inside, it's very cozy and interesting.
That's one of the things I love about Japan and Tokyo, and especially as you said, there's all those neighborhoods, and some are very busy. But then once you connect to busy neighborhoods, in between you have amazing, lovely streets, amazing buildings. Like you were talking about with architecture before we started recording. There's like I love the buildings here. I love concrete, and I like these type of buildings. You have like all those tiny, very modern houses and stuff. Like, yeah, for me, it's. I also love walking. So, but I think especially here, it's a really good advice for anyone who comes to visit.
Yeah.
They need to not take the metro between Shibuya and Shinjuku. That would be a shame. You miss so much on what's in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thank you. It's great advice. Very interesting conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there, just last question before I forget, where should people follow you? Are you on the social networks, or do you post, or?
I'm on Twitter, on LinkedIn, like basically everywhere. Yeah, my username is actually same everywhere. It's like Igor Voroshilov, and without like all the small letters, without any space. Basically everywhere.
All right.
Yeah,
I will
and
but do you create content in English or in Japanese?
mostly in English. Yeah. I did a little bit of Japanese content on Threads,
Okay. Yeah.
but now in English mostly. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. I'll put all the links in the notes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.